Okay, let's take a look at Openshot. This is a now we've been watching for a Linux application that we can use to edit our videos for the longest time, and one of the things that's really, I think, held back, I guess, a little bit Linux from some desktops is the lack of good video editing software. I mean, people will say, I need to be able to edit videos, so I can't switch to Linux because there's just nothing there that we can use. And I've been in that same boat. I've had to, we run Cyberlink Power Director for most of our video editing, and it's done very, very well for us, but it's a commercial tool, and here's the kicker, it requires Windows. So, Jonathan Thomas has said, you know what? He was programming on Windows, and he said, I want to step in. This is somebody who has done what a lot of us should do, which is to say, rather than standing in the forums and saying, oh, would somebody please do this, would somebody please do this, Jonathan Thomas has said, okay, I'll do it. There's a need there, so it doesn't pay well, and it's a lot of work, but I'm going to step in and I'm going to do this. And I think that's a great mindset to have. And if you go over to openshotvideo.com, you'll see that you've got access to this fantastic tool. Don't install it through your Ubuntu repositories. You'll notice that I'm using Ubuntu Linux right now. What I want you to do instead, openshotvideo.com, I'm going to bring it up. What I want you to do instead is use their PPA, which is a personal package archive or some crazy thing like that. The way to get this is to click on download. Check out his blog as well while you're at it. He tells a lot about what he's doing. And so what I've done is I've clicked on download, scroll down a little ways, and you see PPA instructions. Click it. It says Ubuntu 9.10 Karmic and above. Cool. Copy all 3 lines to your clipboard. Okay. Go into your terminal and go edit, paste. It'll probably ask you for your password. Go through that. Chris Reich is saying, why not get the software from the repositories? Normally, we'd say get it from the repositories because it's great. It's going to get the updates, and it's going to be backed by Canonical and this and that. The PPA is backed by the developer himself. But here's the kicker. Canonical's repositories are version 1.1.3. Current version is version 1.3.1. You'd think they just reverse the numbers. But in fact, with the PPA version, you get 3D titling. You get a whole slew of new effects and features and improved interface, improved reliability of the interface. So you definitely want to stick with the version that's provided through the PPA by the author of the software, as opposed to what's available in the Ubuntu repository, which is so obsolete that it's not worth getting. And because it's a PPA, it's a personal package archive. We should understand that through a PPA, you're still going to get the updates when your app goes through its regular updates and you get your system updates. They're going to just come from a different source. They're not going to be coming from Canonical. Okay, so I've done that. I'm ready to go. And now that that's in, well, first things first, I'm going to go sudo apt-get update. That's something that we type in our terminal every time we add something new to our repository list, so that we get the new package lists. Doesn't take long. It's going through that step right now. There, it's done. So now I can bring up Synaptic Package Manager. So we're stepping away from, and you can use apt if you want. You can use apt-get. You can use the terminal, but we'll jump back to the GUI because there's no problem with that. Just type in Openshot, and you'll see, just for the sake of timing on the show, I've already installed that, but you want to click it for installation, and you'll see that now it's version 1.3.1. If you didn't add the PPA, it's going to be the wrong version. It's going to be version 1.1.3, which again does not have any of the 3D features. So stay away from that. Okay, as we're getting this set up anyways, one of the other things we need to do is we need to install Inkscape, which you're going to love because it's vector graphics. For free! Yay. Oh, baby! All right, so Inkscape. Do it while you're here. All right, the one that's in the repository is indeed fine, so let's install that, okay? Regular steps apply. Once that's done, next step, we want to now. What I should explain. What Inkscape now gives us is the ability to edit our SVG titles, because Openshot uses. It's what's so neat about open source and the way that things work with dependencies and the way things work on Linux is he doesn't have to reinvent the wheel. There's already a vector graphic editor, so tap into it. So install Inkscape, and that gives you vector graphic abilities within Openshot. Install Blender, and all of a sudden you've got the ability to create 3D effects using Openshot's interface. So we're going to head over to blender.org. This, again, we're not going to get from the repositories because it's so obsolete in the repositories that it's not compatible. I believe Openshot requires version 2.5.6. If you click on download, you'll see Blender current version is 2.5.7b, which the B, don't get phased that you think that that's beta. It is indeed stable. Okay, scroll down. And there are two versions for Linux. There is the x86-32, that's for your 32-bit Linux installation, and there's the x86-64, that's if you're running a 64-bit platform. I'm using 32, so I'm going to download that file. It's 30 megs. I've already downloaded it just for the sake of the demonstration. And then, here's what's neat. You don't have to compile that. You don't have to do anything beyond extracting it from the zip file. So I've created a folder in my home folder called Programs, and I've extracted it there. So now Blender in its entirety is right here. I don't need to compile it. I don't need to do anything else. All I need to do is right-click on Blender. That's the executable, Blender. Right-click on it. Whoop, and go copy. Okay? Now, we've got Openshot installed from our PPA. Let's go Sound and Video, and you'll see Openshot is now on your menu. That's going to bring that up. So now we go File. First thing we do, Edit Preferences, not File, Edit. And down at the bottom, you'll see Blender Executable. Remember, we just copied the Blender Executable. We're going to paste it there, and that is actually pasting a link to the file itself. Okay? So now we close that, and now we've got the capability to create those 3D title sequences. Okay, so that's one that I just created. Just to save rendering time, I already created it. And what we're going to do tonight, within this extremely fast-paced and exciting tutorial about how to use Openshot, we're just going to take last week's news feature with Hillary, and we're just going to cut it down, and we're going to turn this into its own little feature using this free open source software from openshotvideo.com. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to add my media, which I've placed on my desktop. I've already organized it in a folder called Project Files. And remember, most video cameras these days are digital. Mm-hmm. So when I take video with my video camera, they're stored in the hard drive of the video camera. When I copy them over, it's not like copying from tape used to be. It's not a dub. You're not having to create dubs of the videos. It's actually the video file is from your camera. That's quite often what you get. So in our case, we're just using clips from the show, so that's fine. I've got two files. I've got the one file is the entire episode in its HD quality, and I've got another one is the file from Backstage Pass. You'll notice they're both very different formats. One is a WMV, one is an FLV, and I'm going to add those. And now I'm also going to add the images that we use for the news. So you'll see that these are the files that we use when we actually do the news broadcast. These are the ones that we had there last week. So what I want to do, I've got that video sequence that I created, the news. The way that we do that now that we've got Blender set up is we go. Check this out. It's so simple. Title. New animated title. Okay? If you don't have the correct version of Blender installed, it'll warn you. Don't worry. And that's what I clicked on. I clicked on Glare because it looked fancy. You enter. Are you laughing at me? And you enter in, you just fill in the blanks. My show title. Okay, this is the file name, and now we'll say, ooh, my show. And that's the text that's actually going to show up. Note to Jonathan, typo. The titre. Is that a word? The titre? It's all good. It's all good. So when you click render, that's actually going to tap into the power of Blender, which we set up in our edit preferences, and it's going to create this wonderful sequence. And there's so many to choose from, feel free to click around. Okay, so now I'm going to grab the episode 193 and just drop it. And look at how smooth this is. Look at how I can just drag it around, and there's no lag, there's no waiting for it. It's there, it's good to go, and I can scroll around, right? Beautiful. They've really, I mean, Jonathan has done a fantastic job. I don't know who else he works with, but it's just been fantastic. And it's come along so much over the past little while since its inception. One of the first things I want to do is I want to save this project. I don't need to title it, but you can. Set it to the profile style. I've set mine to DV NTSC widescreen because I'm working with widescreen videos. And that is just because, what if, I mean, the program could crash. What if the power goes out and you lose your work? You just keep it saved. Always save, save, save every time I do something substantial. A couple of quick rundown of the tools that are available in Openshot. There are, okay, add a track. We're going to come back to that. Arrow tool is the tool that you use in order to move things around on the tracks, okay? This one here, scissors, is it's actually called the razor tool. They've changed the icon in this version, so this is fantastic and it's so quick. This razor tool, say I'm here, okay, and I want to cut the video right there, so I click there and it instantly creates a second clip. There's no waiting. Now I can right click on the first clip and go remove, and it's gone. Click on my arrow, my little icon tool there, the arrow tool, and move that in. So now the video starts where I cut it. Alright, next tool is the resize tool. If I click on that, now I can grab the edge of any item and resize it. I can grab that. I could take my images. Here's a cool thing if you want to make image slideshows. And I can resize, which is basically changing the length, the duration of that image. See how it's, 10 seconds, 11 seconds, 12 seconds, okay? So I'm actually moving that with that tool. And I recognize that the tools are not quite visible when I'm broadcasting here, but you can get the gist of that on your own system. Cool stuff. So I'm going to remove that clip, I'm going to move this over, and let's just use this tool over here to zoom out a bit. I'm going to go like that, and that's zooming out of my video because it is a 1-hour video. Okay, and now let's click around. There we are, there's Hillary, so we know that the news starts about there. And see what I'm doing is I'm just dragging the slider on the top little ruler area up here. And I'm just bringing it, just nudging it in there to where she starts. Now I'm going to grab that razor tool. I'm going to get right in there. And I'm going to cut it right on the line. There we go. The zoom feature that I'm using is a part of Ubuntu Linux. That's holding your window key or your super key and using the scroll wheel on your mouse. And now I'm going to zoom back in on the video using Openshot. And now I can align these videos. Now watch this. Okay, so I'm going to overlap that. What happens here, track 1 is under track 2. So track 2 is going to overwrite what's on the screen. So if I move my cursor here, there's the news, and then as soon as track 2 starts, boom, it's over to Hillary. So what we want to do is we want to have a transition there. So I'm going to go up here, click on transitions, and scroll through and play around. There are a ton to choose from. Remember, this is free. I'm going to drag that and I'm going to drop it right in the middle so that that video is going to transition into that video. I can resize the transition itself. Okay, so it's going to be a nice seamless wipe. And if the arrow is pointing the other way, it means we're going the wrong way, in which case you right click and you go switch direction. It's as easy as that. And see, the arrow is now pointing the other way. In our case, we want to fade from this into this, from track 1 into track 2. So now if I let it play, nice beautiful fade, there it is. Okay, So you see, and I can go back, see how it fades right into that clip using the nice wipe that we chose. So then, when we're done, let's just pretend that we are finished editing our video, and that's as simple as it is. Okay, so we've edited it down. You can have multiple clips, as many clips as you want, of course, and remember that the layers that are on top are the ones that are going to be displayed above the other layers. So we can now create another layer if you need to, or another track, pardon me. Tracks, this is a multi-track editor, so you can add as many tracks as you want, limited only by your computer's hardware. And now we can add like a picture to go along with what Hillary is saying, for example. Now I'm not actually editing a video here, I'm just showing you the ideas and the concepts behind how we're going to use this software. So there's a picture of Linus, and I've pasted it on top of that. So now, if we go back here, you'll see it fades from that into, there's Hillary, and then all of a sudden here comes a picture of Linus, because let's pretend that that's who she's talking about at that time, and then it goes back to her, because that layer with 3.jpg is above the one with 193.wmv. Now let's add credits to our video, because that's what we're going to end our show with. We're going to go into Title, New Title, and we're not going to use the 3D ones this time. Instead, we're going to create one. We're going to use Inkscape. I'm going to scroll down this list, play around with these. These are just different ones that you can choose from. You can click on one and then use your arrow key, down key, to move through the list. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just choose standard one or whatever. It can be that. Create new title. This is my credits, and I'm just going to go blah, blah, apply. And then we're going to go use advanced editor, because we've installed the advanced editor, which is Inkscape. And when we've got that in, here we go. Double click, triple click, and go, my show. Brought to you by Robbie Ferguson, Krista Wells, Hillary Rumble. Now notice my text is now outside of the frame of that, so I'm going to go File, Document Properties, and down here I'm going to go Fit Page to Selection. Done. So now my document is outside of the word Hillary Rumble. I'm going to hit Save, close that, and now that is what my end captions look like. So that's actually created an SVG file here in my Media Manager, which I'm now going to drag into my timeline right over top of that. And now I'm going to right click on that, because right now it just kind of pops in there. Watch what happens after Linus. Boom. There's the credits over top, right? So instead, I'm going to start it right after Hillary, and I'm going to go right click, animate, bottom to top, and now there's my end credits for my movie. Final step, because we're out of time, but this is what we need to do. Hit the big record button up at the top. Go to Profile. There are some preset profiles. I'm going to go all formats instead. I'm going to choose MP4, H.264, DV, NTSC widescreen. Choose your quality. We're usually going to go with high quality. And export video. Give it a name. Okay? And there it goes. It's going to create that video right on your hard drive wherever you told it to save. And then you're going to be able to upload that to YouTube, burn it to DVDs, whatever you want to do. You've just created a video with Openshot video editor, which is available from openshotvideo.com. Pop us an email, live@category5.tv. We'd love to hear from you this week. And if you have any questions about Openshot, I would be happy to answer those on next week's show. That's 195. And of course, we'll also relay your questions over to Jonathan, and he'll be able to answer those for you. Okay, so continuing our series on video production, cat5.tv/vidprod. I would love for you to check out what we've been doing with Openshot Video Editor, and we're just having a lot of fun learning how to do some video editing on our Linux system. So we're talking about free tools and being able to do this absolutely free. And
that just sounded
like a She's like, I don't know
dagger.
what free is. No, I wasn't pointing fingers at you.
Linux system.
Yes.
Just saying.
For free. For thousands less than what you paid. Anyways. No, we're not playing that game. I'm teaching them.
It just seemed like that.
I'm trying to teach them, and you keep interrupting.
That's what I do. That's why you invited me on the show, I thought.
Exactly. Yes.
Jeez.
So tonight what I want to go through with you is how to create our own screencasts. Now what we do here at Category 5 is a bit different than a screencast because we're able to commit the time that it takes once a week to actually broadcast a live show. But you may or may not have that ability to commit to a schedule like that. But maybe you still want to help people out. Maybe you've got some ideas about what you can do fancy on your Linux computer, be it Ubuntu or whatever else that you're using. And we're going to show you tonight how you can get involved in that kind of community by actually creating your own screencasts. So if you have ideas, you can take those ideas and share them with people through video, and it's quite it's quite fun, but it's also I don't know if better is the word, but certainly it can have a better impact on somebody's ability to do something if you're able to just show them. When I bring up my computer screen and I am able to show you things, I mean, that's the hopeful thing, is when you ask a question, hopefully I'm able to show you. Sometimes it happens where I don't have the hardware and so I can't, but quite often it's best if you have a question about Photoshop, maybe Krista can bring up Photoshop and show you things like that. So it really is helpful if you've got a YouTube channel and you create that. It's free, and you can add your own tutorial videos. So the first thing that you're going to need is an application on your computer. Now I'm using Ubuntu. You can be using anything at all. There's one called GTK-Record My Desktop. Now you're going to find this in Synaptic Package Manager. And just type in GTK-Record, and you'll see that you get GTK-Record My Desktop. So install that, and with that, we're going to do exactly as it sounds. We're going to be able to record video of our desktop. If you've got the checkbox on sound quality, you can probably uncheck that because we don't need to record the sound of the computer itself. Instead, we're going to do a voiceover. So go into your advanced properties, just make sure everything's good. Working directory is temp, that's fine. Performance, zero compression is going to give you the best quality. Quick subsampling you can use if you have a pretty fast computer, as well as encode on the fly. They have tooltips, so if you have tooltips turned on, you'll be able to see what each thing is. So, but quickly, under miscellaneous, I've told it to not outline the capture area, because if I do, it might show up in my video, and everything else can kind of remain default. But these are going to say, this program is going to save OGG Theora or OGG video files. It's an open source format, and it's going to allow you to save very high quality recordings of your desktop. So when we're ready, we're simply going to hit record here, or we can go up here and click on the record button, and that's going to do the same thing. So now we can bring up Firefox and we can say, okay, so we're at google.ca or google.com or wherever you are. That's a fancy graphic they've got going on today. You never know with Google. And quite often one of the things that that I encounter, and it's something that seems pretty basic, but when you tell somebody to go to a website, sometimes they don't know, because maybe they've never used the internet, or maybe they've never grown up with the internet. I kind of grew up with it. You grew up with it, so we know where the address bar is. But somebody, you say go to category5.tv, and so they go down here and they start going, okay, www.category5.tv, and that's fine. They click on search, and we happen to be the first result, of course, so that's fine. And then, but it's redundant, and they go here. So in this tutorial, we're going to actually go up to here, and we're going to show them that, okay, this isn't the address bar. This isn't the address bar. What is the address bar is up here. So we're going to go up here, and we're going to type www.category5.tv, and now we lose that redundant step of having to actually go through the search process. So that's as simple as our tutorial could be. When I'm done, all I have to do is go back up here to the stop button, click on it, done and done, and it started encoding my file. So as we wait for that to encode, we're going to bring up Sound and Video Sound Recorder, which comes with GNOME. So if you've got Ubuntu, this is going to come with it, but there's the name of the application, GNOME-Sound Recorder. If you need to install it separately, but you should have it installed. So what I'll do is quickly record. Now I've got a built-in microphone on my laptop. Terrible sound, but for the sake of the demonstration, we can use that. You can plug in a microphone to get better quality sound. So here we're going to use Sound Recorder to create the voiceover of this tutorial. Okay? So over here on my computer, I'm going to hit record, and I'm going to say, welcome to my tutorial. I'm going to teach you how to enter an address into your web browser without having to go through Google search. Click on Control and stop. Or I guess there's a stop button there. It was kind of hidden. Okay, so that's my introduction. I've got an introduction now, so that's good. Let's save that. I was happy with that. Okay, create a folder on my desktop. I'll call this clips, and I'll call this 1.og. Okay, new file. What should we say? This is not where you enter the address. Instead, go up to the top here. This is your address bar, and enter your website address up here, and then hit enter. Now, I know this is simplistic, but we're not actually creating a tutorial, and maybe we are. I don't know. I'm going to save that as 2.og. Now, well, you know, let's end it. Let's say I just closed it, but let's. Thanks for watching my tutorial, and I hope you enjoyed it. Stop. There we go. Okay, save that. So all I've done is I've created 3 files that are all audio only. Okay, so if I bring up that folder, as this is still continuing to encode my video, clips, and if I click on one of those, the audio's there. You can't really hear it at home, I'm sure, because I'm just using my mic, but the audio is there. Krista could hear that. Okay, so that is finished encoding, so it's come back to this window, and now I can save as, I guess it's saved as a default, actually, so let's see where it's saved as. You could have pressed to save as first, and that would have put it exactly where you wanted it to go. In my case, I believe all it's done is it's put it into my home folder. And there's a file called out.ogv because I didn't specify. Alright, so I'm going to bring up our Openshot video editor as we've used before. And the first thing I want to know is, okay, are my audio files and video files compatible? Okay, so I'm going to go clips. I'm going to load all my OGG files. These are the audio files. And drag the first one into the timeline and push play. Okay, so I don't know if you can hear that at home, but it is there, and that worked just fine. Now I'll grab the video clip. There we go. And just push play on that. Oh. And you'll see that it is, in fact, scrambled. And that's because the codecs for this particular file may not be installed or available for this particular application. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove that from my project, and I'm going to bring up another application called Pitivi. And we're going to use Pitivi in order to convert the video into a format that Openshot is going to recognize. So I'm going to import the clip. There we are. I'm going to put that in my timeline. Okay. Put it right at the beginning there, and then I'm going to render the project. Don't have to do anything else. All I'm doing is just converting the show. So I'm going to choose which file I want to output to. I'm going to put it in my clips folder, and I'm going to call this video clip.mp4 because I'm going to convert this to an MP4 file. I'm going to modify the codecs that I'm going to use. I'm going to go up here. In my case, I want to use NTSC. That's my location, basically, the region of the players that I'm going to be using. PAL is like the UK, NTSC is kind of us over here. And from there, change our container to, I said MP4. That a container is like the file format, the file extension. You've got like AVI, MP4, you know, any of those are containers, right? But then it's the codec that is within that container that really makes all the difference. And in this case, we'll use XVID as our video codec. And remember, audio, there isn't any, so it doesn't really matter. I'm going to hit OK and then hit render. And we're just going to let that go. Just let that fly. And it's going to actually go through the video. You'll see down here that it's actually basically watching through the video, and it's rendering that out and saving that to the MP4 file as I requested. So then we're going to have a file that's going to be compatible with our Openshot video editor.
Cool.
Okay. Any questions this far?
There was one here from, just jumped up now. Greg in Texas just wants to know, what is the name of the converter that you're using?
This is Pitivi. It comes with Ubuntu, and I'll actually show you the title here. Okay, P-I-T-I-V-I. Do you see that? So to get that, it's under Applications, Sound and Video, Pitivi. Now Pitivi is another editor, which I guess you would say is kind of similar to Openshot, but I like the non-linear nature of Openshot. It's more, I don't know, the way that it works to me is more, makes sense as far as, being able to jump into it and just know how to use it and be happy with the results. Pitivi is a little bit different in the way that its interface works, but you can try it out and maybe you'll be happy with it. But Pitivi does tap into some of the codecs like xvidenc, which is what I'm using right now, but I'm doing it through a GUI, so Pitivi becomes the front end for this xvidenc encoder. So that's what I'm using to re-encode this file, and you'll see that it doesn't take very long, and I'm doing this at 480p. About 6 seconds left. Okay. Is that the only question at this point?
It looks like it.
Okay.
It's following along good.
So that's good. So that's just about done here. See, it's pretty quick, and the comment comes up, well, you need to have a really good computer to do video production, and that's true when you get into HD and stuff like that, for sure. But here I am, I'm just using my laptop computer, and it's just a basic Core 2, or a Core Duo. Now this is complete, okay, so I can close this. It's not an exceptional computer by any means, but it works, and it's letting me do all this stuff that you see me doing. So you could quite potentially do this on some lesser hardware. Now I've imported that videoclip.mp4 that I just created, and you'll see that now that clip is going to work just fine. Okay? So I'm going to drop that into my timeline. I'm putting this under track 1, and I'm going to get rid of the 1.og, which I just put there just for the sake of testing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just scroll over here and see where I want to start my actual tutorial as far as editing goes. See what I'm doing? I'm dragging this line. Okay. So I'm going to cut it there with my razor tool. I'm going to remove the first clip. I'm going to use the arrow tool and move this to the start. And then I'm going to grab 1.og, and now I've got my intro all set and ready to go. Welcome to my tutorial. I'm going to teach you how to enter an address. Alright. So something along those lines. Now I cut it a little bit too early, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this over. You see there wasn't enough time there for my intro to happen before the actual typing took place in Google. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my resize tool. I've moved this over, and I'm going to resize the beginning of the clip so that it starts a little bit earlier. Then I'm going to use my arrow tool, move it back again. There we go. So let's see if we've got a little bit more time now. Welcome to my tutorial. I'm going to teach you how to enter an address into a web browser without having to go through a filter. Okay, perfect timing. See, now I've just started typing in there. So now I'm going to grab my clip number 2, and I'm going to put that into my timeline, and then clip number 3, place that in my timeline as well, and just see where that's going to actually fall. Thanks for watching my tutorial. Okay, so that's not quite right, so I want to end that up there. I want to put this around here. Perfect. See that? So what I've done is I've actually positioned my audio content in such a place that what I'm talking about is describing what's actually happening on the screen. So I've recorded what I want to show on the screen, and then you can script it if you want. If you want to sound really professional, you can script it out. In this case, we're just doing a quick demonstration, so it's not really necessary. But this video is ready to go. Looks like the clips are in the right spot. And I can render that. There's my intro. And you know from our previous, the first introduction that we gave to Openshot Video Editor, you know how to add titles and your captions and things like that if you want to add some text. That's all good. One of the other things that I might do that's a little bit more advanced, if you look at this audio clip, I say this is not where you enter the address. Instead, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it there using my razor tool. Okay, so I'm going to actually turn this into 2 clips. Okay, so I want to clip it right there. Okay, so now I can place that using my arrow tool a little bit earlier in the timeline. So now I can say, okay, so you can put that where it's supposed to go, which is when I'm showing the actual Google input field. Okay, I said this is not where you enter the address. And then we've got all this dead space in between, so what we can actually do is we can, again, edit using our razor tool. Okay, remove that little bit of dead space in the middle there. And then we can grab all those, and we can move those over as well. Cool. But we're just about out of time. I think that gives you a good idea as to how you can use Openshot in combination with all these other tools. But simply grabbing that, moving it, repositioning your files, and now we've got a shorter clip. It's nice. It works. I'll render that. And
seems like a really simple way to put everything together.
Yeah, it works. And then you get onto youtube.com and you sign yourself up with a free account. You've got a chance to tell the world about all the different tutorials that you've got in your head. And I think it works, it can work in conjunction with a blog. If you've got a blog already, you can use this as a tool to create new ways for people to learn from your blog. Rather than having to just explain step by step, you've got a chance to actually provide a tutorial that is that's visual.
So in honor of our ode to Star Trek, what are we going to do?
We're going to animate the whole thing. First of all, this episode of Category 5 Technology TV is brought to you in part by PogoPlug at cat5.tv/PogoPlug. And, of course, Planet Calypso, the free online game, is available for you to download at cat5.tv/Calypso. This is Category 5 Technology TV. I'm your host, Robbie Ferguson.
I'm Hillary Rumble.
And tonight, we're going to be looking at something that I've wanted to do for quite some time because I just thought it'd be fun. I mean, we talked about some video production features on Linux and using free software to do those video productions. We've looked at Openshot Video Editor, and that's a fantastic application, which we're going to get back into. But then you showed up with these Star Trek figurines, which you didn't ever realize that we'd actually find a use for.
I didn't know. I just saw them. I was like, we
Robbie's
got to get these.
He'll like them. Well, she knows because I actually have, within arm's reach. I don't even have to go off camera.
He's still here.
And I have I can grab communicator pins and tricorders and everything else.
So it's only fitting to have action figures to accompany his grand collection.
Okay. Thanks for that.
You're welcome.
I'm going to jump into Synaptic Package Manager. This software is available on any Linux computer. Linux is a free operating system. It's an alternative to Mac OS or Windows, and it gives you access to lots and lots of free software. Within Synaptic Package Manager, what I'm going to do is just type in simply, it was called Stop Motion, all one word. I've already installed it just to save myself some time.
Perfect.
Okay. What you would do is install that tool. I'm here in Zorin OS, which is an Ubuntu derivative. And you'll see stop motion is there, creating stop motion animations with images grabbed from your whatever. Okay. With that software, here's what's so cool. And I thought about, okay, well, how are we going to do this? Are we going to use our best camera and go all out and make a state-of-the-art awesome video? Because we could if we had the time.
True.
Truth is, I know that most people don't have that kind of gear. Most people don't have the ability to probably do this in 1080p. So what we're going to do is we're going to be realistic with this tonight. We're going to say, okay, this is what you can do with your kids. This is what you can do just at home if you're just thinking, hey, this would be a fun project.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a Star Trek figurine. I mean, these are great, but fully articulating. People use Lego, they use clay, they use whatever else to do these. You can get your eraser on your desk and make it skip around and do a little dance, whatever you want to do. But to make this realistic for you tonight, what I have, oh, and sorry for that, I've got the big screen up there, but what I have, I've got my action figure, which you purchased for
$2.
$2
At the dollar store. Should have been $1, but it's $2.
It's not a huge investment.
No.
Fantastic.
Anyone could do it.
And I've got a classic Logitech QuickCam, just an old USB webcam. All right. For our backdrop, we don't want to have my shoulder in the back of the scene, right? And I could do this, but what I'm going to do instead, keep things simple. I've got the cardboard box from my motherboard.
Perfect.
Perfect. Now we are producing professional video just like they do in Hollywood. Well, you've got an action figure over there. I've got Sulu.
I do.
You've got Scotty.
Beam me up, Scotty.
All right. So I've got my quick cam in place, and I'm going to, on the screen, while you're working on that, I'm going, and this is the official unboxing video of Scotty. By the way, the official unboxing.
First time he's leaving the box.
There we go.
No longer a collectible.
Just whatever you do, don't tear it. It could double its value. Okay, I'm going to go into sound and video and stop motion. Here we go. Gadwill's crying right now.
It's okay, Gadwill. We can just get another one.
First time in stop motion, I'm going to go settings, configure stop motion, and you'll see that it's detected my quick cam, so that's fine. And so I can apply and hit close. It's going to use that camera. I'm going to click on this little camera icon that's there. It looks like a video camera. When I click on that, it's going to activate my quick cam.
Oh, perfect.
There we go. So this is actually live. You can see. Whoa! How are you making out there?
Oh, a couple twist ties, but we're getting here.
Well, I can get started.
Yes.
So a couple of quick things. You'll notice here it says mix. So what's going to happen is that my frames are going to get mixed on the screen so that I cannot just see. One of the problems with stop motion is, well, how do I know that it's moved just a little bit? How do I know that it's in the right position?
Yeah.
Well, with mix, you're able to actually see that. I'm going to show you how that works. I'm going to get my guy. Let's start off screen. There we go. Take one picture by clicking on the camera or hitting your spacebar. I'll use the spacebar just for kicks.
Sure.
I'm going to move him in just a little bit. Space. Move him in a little bit more, and you see how it's starting to ghost. Okay. Moving him in. Oh, you're making a lot of noise over there.
Sorry, guys.
Okay, moving him in a little bit more. And hit space. And now, I'm going to start articulating him so that it looks a little bit more real. So I move him just a little bit. You can see that what is actually happening here is a bit of ghosting. That's the mix that's happening. So I'll hit space. I've got it. Now I move him just a little bit more. Okay, move his arm just a little bit. And I can actually see both images so that I know that I haven't gone like that, because that's just going to look unnatural.
Yeah.
So I can kind of line it up. And even if he falls out of the shot, I can put him back to where I think, okay, well, there's where he was. There's where he should be in the next frame. Hit space to grab the next shot. And then keep going. Okay, how are you making out?
Yeah, I'm coming. I'm coming along.
I've moved...
yeah, child-proof packaging.
Okay, I've moved his arm down a little bit and moved him over. Okay. I'm going to move down his leg.
Yes, victory.
You're in.
Victory!
Okay, and space. And move him in just a little bit more. And a little bit of more articulation. We're not getting all that fancy with it. You can spend more time, of course. But we're going to make it so that, it's... He's going to move very unnaturally into the screen. This time I'm going to turn his head just a little wee bit for the next frame. And again. I've moved his hands a little bit. Maybe a bit too much, but that's alright. There we go. Are you going to catch up soon?
Scotty's stuck in the dressing room. He's got to get ready for his on-camera experience. He dropped his gun. Oh, man. Okay.
If they could see me now, eh?
Take a look at me now.
All those kids who used to make fun of me and say, Robbie plays with dolls, Robbie plays with dolls. Yeah, but I make awesome stop-motion video.
It's an action figure.
Yeah, it's an action figure. Get it right. Okay. See, what I'm doing is I'm articulating him just a little bit and then putting him into a position that is just a little bit moved. All right? How's he coming?
His belt.
Well, if he's not, it doesn't have to be perfect, Hill.
Right,
I know.
I just didn't want his pants to fall down, but
Oh, that's a good
whatever.
idea.
All right, he's ready. He's got his
Okay.
little gun thing.
All right, so get him in there. Slowly. You want to animate him into the set. And
dear.
I can't articulate this guy too much because I'm not that good at it. Here we go. Okay.
Okay.
So you're ready to kind of make your way into the set. I'm going to move just one little degree there. I'm going to turn him just a little bit. And are you stepping in?
Okay.
Okay, here she comes.
A little bit. Got the
Okay,
gun
a little
in.
bit more. A little bit more.
Okay. Well, now
Okay.
I can see it.
There we go. Okay, so stop. I'm going to take a shot. Okay, now we're going to move one. I'm going to turn a little bit. I'm going to turn his head. Well, maybe moved his arm. So you can see that I can realign his arm. See how I messed up his arm? I can put it there. And because I can actually see where his arm was in the previous shot. So have you moved a little bit
A little
there?
bit. It's kind of blurry.
Well, the blur is actually seeing the
To show, yeah.
the 2 frames. 3 frames, as a matter of fact.
So he moved a tad now.
Okay, a little bit more. Oh, he's a sneaky one. He's moving real slow.
Well,
Okay, we'll get into the shot. Okay, you in?
yeah.
Okay. Notice that I'm not taking the time to do leg actions, and so that's okay. You can spend more time, as I say, with your kids. And okay, you in?
Yep.
Shot. I'm just hitting the space bar to make this happen. And we're about to have a duo, I think.
But we're on the same team.
Not in this movie.
Okay.
Are you in?
Yep.
Here we go.
There, now you can see my face.
All right, making your way in. Good. There we go. Okay. Are you in?
Yeah.
My belt fell off. That's okay.
Drop trow.
1 frame, he won't have a belt. Okay. Get rid of. See, this is where things can happen like that. You can just put him back where he should be. Okay.
Call a continuity
You in?
director. Yep.
There we go. Yeah, this is not a directed scene by any means. Come on, Starfleet. Oh, I got your finger in there. Awesome.
Oh dear, I didn't realize that. Oh dear.
Okay. Finger gone? You out?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Next frame. This is action adventure. This is really like the old Trek. It's slow paced and poor special effects.
Oh yeah. I hope you guys watching this are having as much fun as we are.
So we move
I
it
bet
just
you are.
enough. See, that blur is you're seeing all 3 frames.
It's helpful to know.
It helps you to see where
Yeah.
you need to be. Okay, you in?
Let's make them hug.
No, I don't know about that. Then I will be in trouble. I'm taking you down. Because Sulu's very angry at Scotty today.
And I forget who asked if it was Agamotto or whatever, but this Scotty has all his fingers.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, he was wondering if he did or not. I'm gonna punch you.
If I hit you first.
This is getting ridiculous.
Okay, so we need to... One of us needs to kind of articulate
Let's get
down
his,
a little bit.
Oh, here, yeah, get his... Oh no, oh no. Let's...
Looks like I'm going down. Okay, articulate. The ending of our movie is trashed. There we go.
Wait, is this the very... Oh. There's a hand.
Okay, so that leads me to...
Oh, dear me.
Okay, well, what happens if that happens? I can highlight frame number 43 there. See 43 with the hand in the shot? And then over here, I'm going to go remove that frame.
Good.
Okay, now that one's gone. So now 42, just a little bit of hand in that. I think you're good. That's just a shot of the of 43 as it was. So put your finger up. You're good. There we go. And one more frame.
What about like a kick? So he's like victory kick.
Victory kick. Oh, what's happening?
I messed this up big time.
No, that was probably me. Okay, that's kind of like a victory is mine kind of thing.
I don't know.
I should probably lay my arm down because I'm... There we go. Okay. There we go. A little bit more. There we go.
Okay.
Good?
Yep. And I don't know what now.
And I guess that's the end of the film.
Okay, that's it for now, I guess.
Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch out of camera mode. I'm going to click on that big camera there again. Toggle camera on off. Okay. And now down here, you'll see your playback controls.
Mm-hmm.
Let's check out how we did. Are you ready?
I'm ready for this. Well, you know, that was pretty good.
For our 3-second mini movie. But here's where it gets exciting. We're going to actually put that on category5.tv. It's going to be output and rendered
Perfect.
on the show notes for episode number 207. You're going to download it, and just with your microphone, with whatever device you want to use, record the voiceover, what is actually happening with that. If you get a couple of voices in there, we might throw you some bonus viewer points. But here's your chance to be in on the Star Trek action. We're going to give away a whole ton of viewer points, and you know how we work things around here. We usually give stuff away. So, check out the show notes for episode number 207 at category5.tv once it's up, and you'll be able to participate in that contest. You're going to find more information there. Cool.
Sweet.
Well, that's fun, though. I could see that,
That is
you know,
cool.
while we have no purpose or destination as far as that goes, you can have a lot of fun with that. And I say with the kids, but I could see myself actually doing that with the kids.
No, it'd be neat.
It'd be a lot of fun. It's limitless as to what you can do. And you could also, if you wanted to use like stickman drawings and do that.
Oh, yeah.
As well.
Totally.
So the next step, what we want to do is simply make sure that our project is saved. We're going to go File, Save As, and I'm going to slap it on my desktop as Trek Fight. All right. Now we want to render it, and we're going to go File, Export, Video. And now we're going to actually save a video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go Trek Fight, and you have to give it an extension. It can be MP4, AVI, whatever you want to do. So I'm going to go .avi. And what that's going to do is it's going to tell it this is going to be an audio-video interleave. There we go. It's been successful.
Wow.
Okay, so bring up my desktop, and you'll see that I have a new file there called trekfight.avi. It's a video file being played in Totem, and it's good to go. So that is what you're actually going to be able to download off of our website and add your voice to. Okay, we're going to be using free open source software in order to actually add your audio clips to that video. So make sure you're watching. As we receive enough entries for that, we'll be able to proceed with that contest as well. So.
Cool.
Cool. This is Category 5 Technology TV. You'll find us online, www.category5.tv. Nice to have you here tonight, and I'm your host of the show here, Robbie Ferguson.
And I'm Hillary Rumble. I show up randomly.
Yeah. I almost called myself Category 5 TV.
Well, he is Category 5. Really, let's be honest.
There you go.
He is. So, okay, question. When people are downloading this, what sort of software would they use to do voiceovers?
Anything you like. You can use anything at all. If you need to use a device, you can use like your portable phone. I mean, whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
You're going to have, no matter what your platform is, you're going to have an audio recorder app. So that's fine. Send us a WAV file. Send us a MP3, whatever it is. OGG would be. We'll maybe stick you a couple viewer points if it's open source. Whatever you do that's open source, we'll give you a couple extra viewer points. So it'll be a
Perfect.
compounding. So let us know, we'll have the details in the show notes for 207, but you'll let us know how you created the files. And we will actually add it to the video for you. So you don't need to compile it or anything like that.
Hey, if we have like a bunch, we can have our own little film festival.
Sure.
We can play them all.
Yeah, we could do that, gang. If you have a YouTube account, you could put it up.
That
if you
would be
want to
cool.
master it yourself, that's cool too. Yeah.
Just something to
We'll
think
see what
about.
happens with the viewers. It's all up to you now.
It's all you. It's all
It's
your
all up to you.
creativity. Just let the juices flow. The sky's the limit here.
Yep.
Yes, sirree.
Well, hey, I think we, we covered quite a bit tonight.
Oh, we did. We always, the time always goes by so quick.
Yeah, sure does. We've got
a
about,
lot.
for those of you who are watching the RSS feeds, or we've got about 5 minutes, just a little more than 5 minutes left of the show. So, do we have any more viewer questions that we can
do, actually. We do.
take in?
I'm just going to pull some up right here. It's loading. I know the anticipation's killing me. Yep, still loading. Now, if you want to send us an email and a question, how would you do that, Robbie?
You just pop us an email, live@category5.tv.
Pretty easy stuff.
Yeah, that goes straight to Hill.
And I will read it. Okay, this isn't a question, actually, but kind of a cool thing from Invincible Mutant. I'm unsure how many of you would be interested in this kind of odd stuff. I like Gmail to be my default mail client. Therefore, I would like it to integrate well with my desktop. I have the following scripts in my path that I can click any mail to link to launch my Gmail in Firefox. But the problem is I don't have a clue on how to make it integrate with the send to function in Nautilus. In other words, having a script that attaches files straight from Nautilus to Gmail.
Oh, I see.
And he sends a link there and some info.
Oh. Well, I could post the script that he's provided there in the show notes for 207.
Sure.
And query if... so you want to be able to, like, send to... So you're not sending
Have
a...
a send to function.
Like
in
a
Nautilus.
file. Ah. Okay. I haven't ever done that. So you're looking to send a file attachment, basically.
I guess so.
I'm going to have to do a little looking up on that.
Seems doable.
Yeah.
On the
Oh yeah, there's
forums
lots
and
of stuff. Like when I do a quick Google search, and if anyone in the chat room has an answer, they can certainly put it there for you. Invincible Mutant. I don't, off the top of my head, know how that can be done, but I did a quick search for Nautilus send to email, and first one that comes up has got some information about using a command called Nautilus-send to. I don't know. We have to look into it, dude. I haven't done it before, so
All right.
sorry about that.
We'll report back.
But yeah, if people in the chat room have an answer for that, I'd welcome you to do that, or I will do a little research and find out for you.
Okay, we can do that.
Cheers, man.
We can do that. No problem. I'm just thinking if I can pull up another email in time. This comes to us from Sunil. Question is, I saw your video on Openshot Video Editor. Great work. I had a problem with using Blender, though. I copied all of your steps to unpack the Blender and copy and pasted Blender into the box Blender executable, and I get Blender error. Pop-up box comes up when I try to create an animated title, and he's attached the screenshot, which is very helpful. You can see that right here.
So you've gone through the steps, but it's not working?
Still some problems.
You've got 2.59, so that is current. The only thing I could suggest is this executable, so that you've copied and pasted in the executable itself, right? Not just... yeah, that looks right. And whatever the tail end of that is, it's cut off. Just make sure, like, browse using Nautilus to this folder, and just right-click on that Blender file, and just make absolutely certain that it's indeed marked as executable. So that would be like under Preferences. You'll see that, let's see, under Permissions, so you go into Preferences and Permissions, and then there's one that says Allow Executing file as program, just because it didn't sound to me like there were details about the
Not
actual error
particularly,
message or
no.
anything like that. If I knew a little bit more about what it is, like what kind of behavior you're getting, I'm expecting that it's just not doing anything, in which case that would be the first thing I would check, is making sure that it's executable. Otherwise it's not going to run, right? But if you have a specific error, let me know. But another thing that you can do is anytime you run a program that you're getting an error and you're not too sure what's going on, in Linux, go into terminal and run that program. So for you, it might be terminal and then type Openshot. So what happens then is that it loads Openshot from terminal, but there it is, it loads it in the GUI, but any errors that happen are going to be output to the screen in this window here. So you'll be able to see what the error is that's actually taking place, and that will give you more information, unless it's giving you information on the screen. But that's another way that you can find out with a Linux application a little bit more about what's taking place in the background. So good luck with that. I hope that you're able to find it, but post us more details about the problem that you're experiencing, and I'd be happy to help you at that point.
Wow.
Cool.
We're pretty near out of time.
That's it. Yeah. Invincible Mutant just saying you can chmod plus X the file. That's the terminal way of doing it, and it accomplishes the same thing as far as how that goes. So yeah, you can do that in terminal as well if you like, but with GUI it accomplishes the same thing to mark it as executable. So. But yeah, that's all the time that we have. It's been great having you here.
Thanks.
Is that fun?
I love being here. I had super fun with this bad boy.
Continue to get your questions into us live at category5.tv. Follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter ID for the show is down there, and of course you can find any one of our hosts that are on Twitter through that account. You'll see that they are followed there. And yeah, have a great week, and we'll talk to you next Tuesday night. Looking forward to it.
Bye-bye.
See ya.